Hello everyone and welcome to Black Bookers. Another fantastic week of racing coming up. Golden Eagle Day in Sydney, Derby Day in Melbourne. Horses from New South Wales heading here, there and everywhere. Ali Mosley alongside me, who had a really good week last week.
Not so good this week.
Hands up for Anthony Cummings and Josh Parr. How good were they with El Costello? Fantastic.
It was fantastic. It was a really good result for the whole team, for Josh, for Anthony, and I know...
For us.
For us, and I know we're sort of talking out of our pockets here, aren't we? But we got, I reckon, the lowest price we could have, though. Bit stiff.
$3.
$3.
Producer Darren's given us. It was on the second line of betting when the show was on.
Can't believe it.
Anyway, that was a really good go, and glad to see a few people get some money out of it.
You had a good week,
success with Hard Point, which went around 40 to 1 and ran third, so each way got 150 back there, and Written in Code got us off to a good start on the Friday night. Your other return, Territory Express, which it feels dirty only getting $84 back.
I know, doesn't it? And when that scratching came out, I could just, I felt for Connections so much. I thought this has just really thrown it on its head. And
they weren't my first thought.
Oh, well.
I was my first thought.
Speaking out of your pocket again.
Usually the case. Yep, well, what's the point of this show if we don't? Let's have a look at some darn good tips.
And if you don't mind, that's a darn good tip by me.
Good tip by you.
Flying Bandit, if you don't mind. So this was at Hawkesbury, over 2,000 metres in a benchmark 68. I think Flying Bandit's been in the Black Book for a little while now, I would suggest. So one that's stuck around and duly saluted there, albeit at $1.70. Now, this is the one I was most excited about because, I mean, even though it was $1.35 and I didn't back him, this is Giga Kick's little three-quarter brother, Pantoja. So I just thought this was a great result for us. He went back down there to Mornington and got the job done. So it was just nice to watch, albeit I wasn't backing him at that price.
Explain to our viewers how you become a three-quarter brother. Do we have long enough on this show? Hey, Written in Code, just got there. Belclair, $26. Fantastic. So this is a horse that we knew was a miler, a Group 1 miler in New Zealand, won there, and now has finally clicked. You know, start 3. We struck a line through the first run. Second run, maybe the fitness wasn't quite there. That was really impressive.
That was huge, wasn't it? Well, what happened in the first run was obviously well documented when the saddle slipped, but absolutely spanked them, didn't she? $26. Artful Persuasion, another one of yours.
One of mine, yep. And don't worry, I'll be sticking. There's a good race in this horse on Saturday. I Know a Star. Well, yeah, it just has your face alongside it, but I don't think it was the result you're after.
No, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't. I was all for Territory Express and one more stride and we would have got the job done.
This is where we start to get dirty. We venture out to Quirindi, $4.40 Hollywood Gold, first run in the Black Book, wins for us. And then My Mum's Toy Boy, speaking of dirty, at $2.80 has been able to win at Grafton.
We had a lot more winners than I thought we did when I looked at the show earlier in the week. I thought, oh, we're a bit light on for winners, but now they've come out of the ground.
Don't you worry, Mosley. We just needed the dark arts to emerge out of the random venues. This wasn't too dark. This was at the midweeks. Briasa, brilliant. And now they've got a decent race lined up for this galloper. They're heading towards the Hunter at Newcastle. Chantel Buckley added this horse before its first ever race start. And it's only had the one loss, and in fairness, it probably deserved to win that, having sat deep throughout.
And Woola Win, another one for Chantel Buckley, who makes her cameo back on the show this week.
Yeah, so I'd like an inquiry into this one.
She'll be pleased, but Woola Win in the benchmark. You were there that day.
I don't know how my pitch is not alongside this horse. If I'm not number one fan, I'm really close. But well done to Shani, and well done to Nathan Doyle. He struck a blow there, and I know they were pretty keen to back her first up from a long way out.
He's got a nice Oaks filly going forward too out of the weekend, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has. He has, in Harlem Queen. All right, we'll have a look at our last chance runners. So they didn't win, but they deserve another go. Any you want to argue with there?
I don't think so. I think Just Party a forgive. Totoka, I don't know what to make of Totoka in an easier race. Certainly she's a forgive as well. Henline, I thought Henline had his chance actually.
Yeah, he did. He just bumped into a good one.
Yeah.
How long did he have? 300 metres to reel in the winner?
Kovalika, our old mate Kovalika, come out and win the Melbourne Cup now, do you think?
Yeah, with blinkers on first time. Broadsiding running Champions Day.
Kintyre on the back up into the Golden Eagle.
Yep, not arguing with any of those.
No, nor am I.
All right, Inhibitions hit the line pretty well there at the midweeks, and A Girl's Best Friend has been fantastic, so we can probably forgive. Stable changes, hang on, so we're saving 30 and we're getting rid of 3.
Yeah, we
need a cull.
We need We might have to have a cull coming up post-carnival, I feel.
I'll cull this week. All right.
This week.
Now that we've got rid of
Among a million other things that are on.
I'm not going to lie, that's not going to happen this week. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now. And I'm not even on next week. In fact, for the next fortnight, you and I are both off. I think it's maybe Brad and Shani or Anthony and Shani next week. And then I'm not sure who's taking on after that. But they'd want to find us some winners. Let's add a few from the races and hopefully they can back these down the track.
I'm kicking us off here with the race that Godolphin went 1, 2, 3 in with their 2-year-olds, and this is Comedy, who had to do it tough, sitting 3 wide, and I just thought was really impressive here in the Kirkham Plate on the weekend. They've got a handy bunch of them, but I know that they've got a big opinion of this guy going forward. So the way that he was able to still execute after having to do a pretty tough job suggests that this guy's in for a good prep, and we'll keep following him as he heads towards the other 2-year-old majors.
We might see Harsh Mistress feature a little bit later on in the show when we have a look at our weekly highlights, but this was a low light and it'll be our good thing beaten for the week. Have a look at this run, so just trapped in behind them. I know it looks as though there might have been a couple of gaps, but they were half gaps at best, and you'll see the difference once this filly, she's by Pariah with Sally Torrens, once she spots the gap here in the final 50 metres or so, she really pushes through. It's just horrific. Anyway, Freedom Rally is the next that you're going to add?
Yeah, out of the 5 Diamonds Prelude. So I thought Freedom Rally really deserves a spot in the Black Book this week. Got back outer, had to come the widest around the bend and closed off strongly, running the final best last 600 of the race. So I think Freedom Rally deserves a spot there. And there were a few probably that you could have added from this race, but I just thought Freedom Rally. Visiting for Tony Gollan was one, albeit has been up for a little while, but I think certainly has a win well within him. Has come up against some handy ones earlier in the prep, the likes of Royal Patronage, Gringotts, who we see on Tuesday, and more victorious.
I'm not going to lie, there weren't a heap from the races that I was that keen to add this week, but Arapaho was one I thought if I get a decent push from the stable as to where they're heading next, then I'll consider it. And sure enough, they found a good race on Champions Day for Arapaho. And the one thing I will say is I loved the run straight away. So I kept a close eye. I was standing above the tunnel. I kept a close eye on the connections. And Rachel King, when she walked up to them, the first thing I could see her mouth to them was, "He's back." And that was what this run kind of said. You know, the real Arapaho is back, and hopefully they give that race a shake.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I thought this midway had a stack of horses that we could follow. So Mad Darcy and French Ruler running 1, 2 there, but I wanted to add Los Padres, who was interrupted for a run in the straight. As I said, you could have added any number of horses, the likes of Monty Supreme, I thought. Maybe Conrad was blocked as well, but Los Padres was the one with, I thought, just a little bit of upside coming off a 4-week freshen after running at Kembla Grange the start prior, and I no doubt we'll get to see him a couple more runs in, this time for Mitch Beer.
Okay, so we need Mitch to have a good run at the moment. I'll be backing one of his for this
He's
week.
got a lot of weight to carry with us on board.
Was that a fat joke?
No, with us on board. Or you, maybe.
Let's have a look at how rude. Let's have a look at some from the trials.
Was that rude?
I've got a baby now,
I know.
Ali. The dad bod's taken over. And you
Peaking.
know what? I'm struggling to turn the tide.
Peeking with the
All
dad
I want to do
bod.
is just sit there and eat.
Well, why don't you just take him for walks, put him in the pram and go walking, Ben?
Speaking of which, walk the pier.
Okay, yeah, well, that's a good omen, actually, for John O'Shea and Tom Charlton, this son of Alabama Express. I thought this was a super impressive trial, yet to head to the races, but he's getting pretty well credentialed at the trials now, and his best work was through the line.
Let's have a look at Tectonic Plate. So this is for Dan Bowen there at Lismore. I have said many times on this show I'm not huge on mid-prep trials. It is often 8-week let-up, but you go back and look through the form. A win at Ballina, a good win at Eagle Farm, had won at Grafton prior to that in a decent race, was placed at Doomben against some good ones. Hold On Honey and Brereton on that occasion. This is a good horse. Has built a nice record, 7 wins in 16 starts with 4 minors, and I'm keen to follow her wherever she goes, the daughter of Sapedo. Next, we have North England.
Yeah, so we saw North England at the very first 2-year-old trials, and he was impressive, but what he's been able to do in this trial here I thought was the most impressive of all. So we last saw him when he ran there in the first 2-year-old race of the season, but the way that he's just kicked clear suggests that he's in a really good order. So he ran 3rd behind Kingkirk and Tempestuous in the Breeders' Plate, but I thought that was a very impressive trial, the way that he just cruised up and then was asked for an effort and then was strong late.
So, Gilded Water is with Kieran Maher, and this is a son of Fastnet Rock who's come over from Europe and was up against a couple of others so Hopeful's a 6-time winner, 500,000 plus in prize money. Baby Rider we know well, and this horse is tracked up in behind as though it could go past with the push of a button. I'm excited to see what he does with this gelding. I did notice that the status said pending, so I don't know whether they're tipping back out or whether maybe setting back overseas. But I dare say if it stays with Kieran Maher, it'll be winning some races. And Accredited is the next one. This is a 5-year-old son of All Too Hard with Joe Pride, a horse that we know well, has been in the money 6 of 9 thus far, including last prep where it wasn't beaten too far behind horses like Fleetwood and Need Some Luck and Cool Jake. And we've seen them measure up regularly at the midweek. So I don't know where they're going to head, whether they do aim up at a midweek or whether this Saturday class already, but we'll follow Accredited. Anyway, new entries starting off with Comedy.
All right, so Harsh Mistress, Freedom Rally, Arapaho, Los Padres, Tectonic Plate, Gilded Water, I like that name too, Accredited, North England and Walk the Pier, all our new entries for this week.
All right, let's have a look at our weekly best ofs. I've already given one away, but these are our highlights across New South Wales for the week.
Let's kick things off with our debut of the week. James Cummings launched a promising 2-year-old colt by Snitzel named Comedy for his debut at Randwick on Saturday. Ridden by Karen McAvoy, Comedy led a trifecta for Cummings, with his 3 runners sweeping the placings in the first.
Comedy starting to knuckle down. Golga about a half in front. Comedy the outside. Oh, you're laughing if you're on him. Comedy, yeah, he got there, right on the line.
For Punters Pal, we highlight one of Tab's best back runners on Saturday in Just Feelin' Lucky. The Michael Friedman filly went around in this super maiden at Kembla Grange with a best price of $2.40 before getting smashed into $1.60. The race was never in doubt as she shot away from her rivals at the 300-metre mark. It even carried the weight of Benny Scar.
Just Feeling Lucky in front. Squeeze boxes chipping away but won't get Just Feeling Lucky. Just Feeling Lucky a convincing winner. Just Feeling Lucky by 3.5.
For a quaddie killer, Belle Claire surprised everyone by winning the second leg of the Randwick Quaddie, the Group 3, the Invitation. The 7-year-old mare paid a juicy $26, driving the quaddie payout to $3,845 with Tab.
Belle Claire still going at the 100. Belle Claire in front from Magic Time, and Belle Claire at a third. Sydney start causes an upset there in the Invitation.
For a good thing beaten, most of you will agree Harsh Mistress at Armadale on Saturday was a tough watch. She was full of running, but trapped behind Ready to Mingle, Carbrook and Kundarang from the 175 metres on. Jockey Shannon Llewellyn got a late needle eye opening, but it was all too late. Driven hard to the line, the filly had to settle for second.
It's Ready to Mingle in front, holding Carbrook. Late in the middle was Harsh Mistress, but I think Ready to Mingle from Harsh Mistress Irish Arthur.
Our win of the week goes to El Costello for his impressive Group 1 Spring Champion Stakes victory. Trainer Anthony Cummings was momentarily speechless as his 3-year-old capped off a stellar campaign, taking out the $2 million event. El Costello's class and improvement left Cummings optimistic. This doesn't happen often, but El Costello is a very, very good horse. The exciting part is he's still improving. It was another great ride by Josh Parr, helping the colt outstay his rivals.
It's El Costello and Henline head and head on the inside. El Costello from Henline. It's going to be a fight to the end. El Costello's lifting from Henline, and El Costello won the Spring Champion, fending off Henline, and Firm Agreement ran through into third.